donated to the shelter were denied. I don't know who to speak to about this, who we can find out. I cannot seem to get a real answer as to why we deny the animals a humane place to lie down.
Alicia?
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Who did you ask why they were not accepted? Have you asked anybody yet?
We've spoken to people like the animal control officers on the page, on the Friends of the Animal Shelter page. That's been discussed on the page.
Madam Chair,
Did you speak to did you call the city and try to contact somebody in the
That's
city?
why I'm coming to you to find out who I can speak
Okay.
to. Who I can speak to find out.
Madam Chair, what item? I'm sorry.
Mayor?
What item? I'm sorry.
The Kuranda beds for the animals.
Create a bed?
Kuranda. They're beds
Okay.
for the animals in the kennel.
Actually, I think, I see a couple of the ordinance officers behind us here that have their hand up, but they popped in earlier to see me as well, and they said they've attempted beds and stuff within the kennels, and they just don't work because the sanitary reasons, they don't stay
The
clean.
Kuranda beds, though, actually, they've been donated. They will be no cost to the city. I know money is tight, so that's why it would be donated to be no cost whatsoever to the city. And it's for the humane treatment of the animals. It's cruel not to have them on a bed. They're on a cement slab, wet some of the time, 24/7. They develop pressure sores. You have sick animals in there. You have animals that are older, that are thin, and it's developing sores over time because of that.
Well, that's kind of contradictory to what we're hearing. If we don't have animals there very long, they wouldn't be getting
Some animals
sores.
some of the dogs are there up to 2 months.
So we're doing a good job of keeping animals, trying to adopt them out, right? So
the dogs are definitely giving a little bit more time since I've been there. I've seen an improvement with the dogs. The cats are the ones that are being put down.
Ma'am, and
I'm
I'm
not giving answers.
right, and I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut.
Mayor?
We've worked on this from day one when I came in. A previous DPW director, we worked with Humane Society and tried to actually get them to come in. We had contract issues as well that were kind of prohibitive to kind of doing that out, but looking from that end of it, Humane Society actually wanted more money than what we actually were collecting and actually had as far as ability to pay for them to come in, and that's what we wanted to do. They wanted to take all the money to process to do what we wanted to do. So, as far as them being able to do more about adopting. So I really thought from their process that they were a nonprofit kind of, where they drive most of their revenue off donations and things as well. That wasn't the case when I sat down with them. We couldn't work anything out with them. So we created, more of a flex shift within our employees to make sure we had coverage on the weekends, which wasn't there before, to try to help offset some of those things. So I know there's things that can be done different. I know there's things that can be done better. I think collectively as a city, the city's going to have to decide whether or not this is an animal shelter or whether it's an animal control facility. From the day I've walked in the door, I've been told that for the last,
plenty of volunteers who are willing
what
to
the
come
name
in
says, I would say it says on the door, but what way we have operated as a city for the last 30 years or however long this has been in place has been as an animal control facility. Our job is to get loose animals off the street, take in loose animals from the street, try to get them back out into homes if we can, but we're not here to hang on to them. I think that the thing is that the employees themselves have done a great job over the last 10 years, the last decade, Mr. McGuckin included, who's been over there is in all capacities as the pound master and everything else, of really getting involved with Mr. Grove and the guy standing over to my left here, their process of getting in contact with those, and my own vet, who's said the same thing, who volunteers her time with us, says, we do a fantastic job for the type of facility that we are.
Well, my question to you is then, if we show up at the shelter with the beds that are donated, no cost to the city, will you accept them and put them in the kennels?
I'm not the person to ask that, but we'll go through with, we'll pull through with the director.
We really just want to do what's best for them. I just want to know who I can be in contact with.
You can contact my office directly.
Drive up there and donate them, and
you can contact Mayor's office directly, and we can set that up before you leave.
Okay, that's great.
But again, once these guys come through.
Thank you, Ms. Duncan.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Yes.
Hi, hello. My name is Dina John, and I live on Donnelly Avenue in Brownstown. And my concern is also with the Taylor Animal Shelter. I used to volunteer, meaning I would go up and walk the dogs and hold the cats, because that's all we're allowed to do. We're not allowed to clean kennels or cages or anything. We'll get yelled at. I quit going because it's a very uncomfortable environment when you go in. You feel like you're not welcome there. Some of the shelter staff are rude. you just feel like you're not wanted, like you're intruding. I also view that the kennels are sprayed down with the animals in them. They're hosed. The dogs move from side to side to get out of the way of the spray. And as stated on the Department of Agriculture website, animals are supposed to be removed from the kennels when they're hosed down. I did see where there was 15 free Corinda beds offered in the beginning of summer. And even before that happened, I posted on the Taylor Facebook page, Friends of the Taylor page, that I would like to get a group of people and try to get some beds for the dogs. But the person that runs the site said that had already been asked, and the shelter turned them down because they don't want the extra work of cleaning the beds. And the beds, you just have to hose the beds off. They're made of nylon. A lot of animal shelters have them. He mentioned about the great success rate of the shelter.
Can I just ask a question?
The great success rate is because of the Friends of the Taylor Facebook page that's ran by volunteers. Volunteers go in there on their own time and take the pictures of the animals and post them on the page. That's the only way people know that there's animals in that shelter, is a volunteer going in and taking pictures.
Which is
and
great.
Posting it and getting them out there. Otherwise, the animals would be going into a black hole. The only way is the people would know that they were there is if they physically went into the shelter. That's the reason why the success rate's so high.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Okay.
Because of the shelter page that's ran by volunteers.
Just on the
Ms.
beds,
John.
if they're
Mayor.
nylon and all we have to do is wash them
All you
down,
have to do is wash them down.
don't we have to take them out and let them dry before we can put them back in?
You can wipe them down.
They're plastic nylon, they're not,
Yeah, a lot
so-
of shelters have them.
just a towel wipe and they're dry
Yeah,
again?
you can just spray them down and wipe them down. They go right back in.
Okay.
And that gets
It's just an
animals
elevated
wiped
platform,
down.
kind of? Okay.
You also addressed about the dogs. The shelter doesn't wait till it's full to kill animals. They killed 5 dogs back in May when the shelter was only half full. 5 dogs all in a row, healthy, adoptable dogs.
Ms. John, first of all, you do understand, like, anyone could come up here and say anything and
Well, all
state
you
it
have
as
to do is
fact.
go back and check the records back in May.
But the people who work at the shelter, who, as we've stated, the numbers are, it's not there. It's not an, a Pets R Us. It is not. It's a place where unfortunate animals have to come because they've been let go or
Why
somebody
kill
wants to
if
give
it's
them
only
up.
half full and you have space?
So some of them, as was stated, are put to sleep because of they're sick, nobody
These were
wants them, or
healthy.
they're diseased.
I walked all these dogs. They were healthy.
Okay,
There
so,
was no reason
So
for them
that's
to
part of
die.
the problem.
There was plenty of room.
but if there's
and
not a
the
home
cats.
for them, we have a limit of how long we can keep them, because obviously it's a animal control issue, we're not in
Then
the,
maybe some changes should be made to at least keep the animals until the shelter's full.
well,
One lady lost her dog. One lady passed away. She had terminal cancer, and she was losing her home because of bills, doctor's bills. And one of those dogs was hers.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had no choice but to bring it to the shelter, and they euthanize it when the shelter's only half full. And cats, there's like 44 cages in there. Those cats will be there 6 days and they'll get euthanized. And I heard it's because Dave doesn't like to clean the kennels.
okay,
and that
well,
is
we're not
not
gonna
right.
do hearsay
Yeah, we're
about
not.
employees. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Ms. John. Thank you.
Well, just to let
All
everybody
right.
know, that's fine.
And we have one more hand, I believe, over here. Pardon me? Just one person at a time.
They can both go, they're sending
you.
the same message. So.
My name's Lanny Hall. I'm an ACO at the animal shelter. Has nothing to do with politics. Not one time have I ever disrespected you or any of you other people sitting here. We have stayed over, me and Sean ourselves, we stayed over tonight taking care of these animals on our own time, waiting on people to come down there. So for you guys to say that we spray the dogs down, absolutely not true. You've been in there when I moved the dogs.
Mr. Hall, if you could speak into the mic,
Yes, ma'am.
because I want people at home to be able to hear you.
All right, well, my problem is they're giving us a bad name as ACOs. It's not anything about politics or anything else. I just think that you may have had an argument with a couple people, you may not have. I know for a fact you haven't been disrespected every single time you come in there, or Mr. John, because you've talked to me several times, and I know I've never disrespected you. Well, I'm not talking to Sean, I'm talking to myself and the animal shelter. I clean the animals in the morning. I come in at 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning. I don't start till 10.
Madam Chair, point of
Okay.
order,
I
just
clean the animals.
point of
Mr.
order
Hall?
through the chair.
Mayor?
Comments through the chair, please.
Yes.
I'm done. I think it's a bunch of malarkey. So.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. All right.
I'm a little nervous, but my name's Sean. I work at the shelter as well. I don't know where to start, but we do care about the animals. We do as much as we can do for them. I mean, we've been threatened. I know Dave's been, I mean, it's been online that people say he needs to be euthanized and this and that and everything else, and he also works there. I mean, we do as much as we can, like Lanny said, for the animals. We stayed today till 6:30. We got off at 6 because some guy wanted to drive from Dearborn Heights to see if his German Shepherd was there, you know. It wasn't his dog, but we stayed. But as far as the freezers go, I mean, I welcome anybody to come in to look in the freezers and see. Just because, I'm not sure what the numbers are as far as the contract goes because I don't handle that, but those freezers do not get filled. I mean, it's not like they're, if it says 8 freezers, that doesn't mean they're picking up 8 freezers. I was just in the freezer today to pull out a dog that was hit by a car that didn't make it. That was the only dog in that freezer. Today's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, it'll be picked up Thursday. Anybody that on the council that wants to come in to take a look can. I know the one is totally empty. I think we only even used the one on the left. There's 2 of them. But I can tell you, I mean, I work with the volunteers. I have Tina's phone number on speed dial on the weekend. If I pick up an animal, I send her a picture. That's where that picture comes from. It comes from me. You know, if I pick, they're not going to see it till Monday. So if I pick up a dog from the PD back here on Saturday, I'll take a picture of it, send it to her from my phone, so she can post it. You know, I try to do that. I don't do it all the time. I try to do it as much as I can because I do have a lot going on. But if I can, I mean, and when they come in, we try to treat them just like any other resident or anybody that comes in. We have had disagreements. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. That's happened. But it's all about the animals, and we definitely do as much as we can. So,
Thank you, Sean.
if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me outside.
Thank you so much for coming.
Madam Chair, I wanted to thank the activists for coming up tonight. I think it's very admirable, and I'm glad for your cause. And we could always use activism everywhere. So thank you for that. And also thank you for the website and all your hard work and getting those animals to some homes. That is awesome. Thank you for that.
And I do want to thank these guys that came here tonight to speak up for themselves, because I'm sure that's a tough job. And I think that just the fact that a couple other communities come to our city for that service shows that we are doing a good job in Taylor, and we can be proud of it.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
may I?
Mr. Ramick.
Madam Chair, may I say something,
Ramick, yes.
please? Through the chair. I just want to make the statement, and I'm not sure if I'm hearing it correctly, but if I am, I think there's something wrong here. We have employees that work at the City of Taylor. We have employees that work at the DPW. We have people that work at many desks and many jobs. And my understanding is they're under the direction of a supervisor. So the people that are working there are either doing their jobs correctly, or the supervisor is not supervising correctly. But I do not believe any of our employees should be harassed, should be talked to in a mean way, or bothered while they're on their job. If a person has a complaint about our employees, I believe they should go to the boss, or to Human Resource, or to the mayor. I believe I heard the employees say that they've had people say things to them and bother them, and I do not believe in mistreating animals, but I do not believe in our employees being mistreated ever. So if we have issues, if we have problems with the way it's done, I believe we need to go to the correct place and not have interaction and harass an employee while they're on their job. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, and I would agree, and that's why, too, I want to just restate, at the beginning of the meeting, I mentioned that this meeting is held, it's a business meeting, an open business. The intention of that is to bring something to our attention, if not good news about something great happening, that you have not been able to address through normal channels. And on Facebook is not a normal channel. We have a number, it's 287-6550. get in touch with the city, tell them what your issue is, and expect an answer back. And if you don't, then call again. But first go through those departments and like Jackie was saying, through the proper department heads and so forth. Then if you're not able to resolve something and going through the mayor's office, then you would come to the council meeting to bring the council's attention to that matter. Yes, next. Because we don't want to resolve employee issues or do anything disparaging to our employees here in public, because that's just not fair to our employees.
Yes, Herman Remick. Madam Chair,